surely the Middle East is fast becoming divided, and by 2013 this is permanently set in place. Now by April that same year, Obama has realised that Assad is being a naughty boy, so he orders the CIA to train and equip the rebels. So America now has a hand in the war, but this is now where it starts to go out of control, and in my opinion it does change the face of the war. But the people involved notice something, notice exactly what can come out of this war. In February 2014, apparently there is a disagreement in the rebels and some break off to form ISIS, which, if you remember, were obviously once rebels trained by America. ISIS then become enemies of Al-Qaeda, another name for the rebels, who originally just wanted democracy. But ISIS don't fight Assad, they fight the rebels that they originally broke away from, and the Kurds, and proceed to try and claim the land. Now the Pentagon then step forward and they then start to train members of the rebels, but they instruct them to fight only ISIS, not Assad. So why did it have this change of direction? Well, then Turkey comes along, and although the Kurds are fighting ISIS, Turkey starts to fight the Kurds and don't go nowhere near ISIS. At this point, America hasn't really gone anywhere near ISIS. Yeah, they train people to fight them, but are these rebels military minded and as trained in strategic fighting as regular armies should be? Is this fighting of ISIS like pissing in the wind? By this time, Assad's fight is losing ground. There are so many people fighting each other, it's losing track of itself. So Russia now get involved, and the reason for this is Putin was friends with Assad's father, and this goes back nearly 40 years. Hafez trained to fly jets in the Soviet Union, but then after a power coup in the 1970s, he turned to Russia in a bid for support and weapons. Eventually, an arms supply steadily flowed to Syria, making shed loads of money for Russia, obviously. And this is the moment that people back then and now start to catch on. When Bashar came in power, he extended and grew them contracts for bigger supplies. So why does Russia get involved? To prolong the war, to inflict enough damage and show enough aggression to the rebels to piss them off, in which they keep fighting. The longer this war goes on, the more money Russia make. But don't forget the Gulf states are involved as well. And who sells arms to them? The British government. So now they are making shed loads of money. But ISIS want to claim land, and they also, as shown so recently in Sky News, they set fire to oil fields. They sell oil. Do they sell oil to Turkey? And that's why Turkey attacked the Kurds and not ISIS. The oil then gets sold to America and quite possibly Britain. ISIS are a wealthy group that have money. That money has to be coming from somewhere. Syria is now a battlefield for profit. Everyone involved is now making money. The longer the war goes on, the more money these governments make. In the meantime, the civilians are suffering. The media make out that everyone but themselves are the bad ones. We should be fearing the terrorists, when in fact we should be fearing the very agenda behind the prolonging of this war. Implant in our minds that ISIS are coming over with refugees, which makes us fearful of immigrants. If all immigrants leave the Middle East, there is no one to fight. No one to fight the war stops. So with this fear, we rant and rave about closing our borders. We stop letting people in, they stay where they are, and the war goes on. But just bear this in mind, since 2015, 1.5 million immigrants have come over, mostly on these massive unsafe dinghies. 10,000 of them have died. If the cause of terrorists are so important, so vital in causing us pain, can you actually see them risking coming over like that? We have to realise what our governments are actually up to and try and work out together who really is the bad guy. These people are suffering. We owe it to our planet to help them. You could say, why aren't you doing something about it? One voice alone will never be heard. We all have to make our voices heard. Nothing will ever break the will of the people. We have to build that will. that will to make things better, not just for us, but for everybody. Can we or will we see an end to this war? I don't think so, not in the near future. For as long as people make a profit from war, instead of just funding it because of a massive disagreement, we will always have it. Or even until we have a government that seeks to help and not to control. And only we can change that, and change that together. Next week, we are back on politics, and I'll be looking into Theresa May and trying to see what is exactly behind that smile and why she seems to be taking the Conservative Party in a completely different direction and trying to fall in line with the purpose of the Labour Party. Why is she doing that? Well, I think because she has realised that it works. Feel free to comment, click on the thumbs up, and why not subscribe and be a part of the discussion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.